Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Mad Science Lab on the Fantasy Football Universe. I am Aaron St. Dennis. Follow me everywhere at FF Mad Scientist. Joined tonight by Dirty to talk some Minnesota Vikings. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, what's going on, man? Just happy to be back because football never ends. So I'm ready to get into some purple people eaters with you.
Yeah, experiencing some deja vu here. For those of you who weren't in the recording session with us, we're recording this episode, and the first time we tried it, my internet shorted out 4 minutes in. So this conversation we've already had once in the last 10 minutes. So before we get into the Minnesota Vikings, let's try this again, and you can tell everyone where they can find you.
Yeah, everybody can find me at you could see it at Ikonical, but it's going to be Ikonical Wear, so IKONICALWEAR on all platforms: YouTube, Twitter, and all the other mainstreams that you can find. Okay, and I have a podcast. I do random interviews and such like that. So if you guys feel like you want to take a listen and want to take a follow, you're more than welcome to the family.
All right. Did that pretty well. It's almost like you've done it once in the last 10 minutes, previously rehearsed. That was just a rehearsal. Let's try this again. We will dive into the Vikings. We've got the QB room here where we have rookie out of Michigan, JJ McCarthy, going off the board as QB 30, Sam Darnold, QB 35, Nick Mullins, and Jaron Hall. It's kind of an interesting situation here. Theoretically, JJ McCarthy is the starter, but you never know when. Is he the starter from week 1? Is he the starter from week 8 behind Sam Darnold? How slowly are the Vikings going to bring him along? And it scares the hell out of me in any league where I have a share of Justin Jefferson, not knowing what's going on. And as you mentioned last time we tried to do this, I think the Justin Jefferson ADP has taken a bit of a hit. I've seen drafts where he's going in single QB where he used to go 1 or 2. He's going 7 or 8 at the middle of the first round there, just because nobody knows what the hell's going on. But what do you think here? JJ McCarthy, Sam Darnold, what's going
on? To be honest, man, I think they're gonna, bring in Sam Darnold, right off the bat. They're not bringing him here for no reason. I think in case he gets hurt, that's why they have Nick Mullins coming in. Nick Mullins has been proven that he can sling the ball. I'm not saying he's a great quarterback, but they do have a pretty decent O-line. Like when they're healthy, they have a decent O-line, and they have the 5th easiest schedule for quarterbacks. So if Sam Darnold seems to be doing good, I think they're going to ride with that. But as soon as they see that things are kind of falling to the wayside and things are not looking too good, and they think McCarthy has proven himself, they might just jump in there.
Sam Darnold seems to have that, what's the word I'm looking for? The Joshua Dobbs thing down pat, where he comes in and he is great for like 3 or 4 games at a time, and everyone gets back in on him and it comes crashing down. I had this in a startup dynasty probably 3 years ago, when he started off hot in Carolina and he had like 7 rushing touchdowns through 3 games. And my buddy had him as his QB2. And I said, sell this guy right now. He said, someone offered me a 1st-round pick for Sam Darnold. I said, sell. No. I'm going to hold on to him. He's been awesome. All the rushing touchdowns. And sure enough, 3 weeks later, he dropped him on waivers. I'm like, I told you.
Yeah, you got to get it when it's hot, man.
So I think that's the scenario here. He's going to come out and they might run Sam Darnold here as long as he can. But sooner or later, he's going to steer that ship into the rocks. We all know it. It's going to happen. And I'm trying to look. I don't have it on me. I'm going to scroll up here. Where's their bye? Their bye is week 6. That might be a little early to transition, but like that's 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay. So they could conceivably be 1-4 here. I don't know if I'd want to come out of the bye and have his first start against the Lions or Rams. So that's a tough one. I feel like if their bye was say their bye is week 9 or 10 and they're coming out and facing the Jags or Titans, I like that a lot better. That's kind of rough. Early on, 6 weeks, come out and face the Lions. That's kind of scary, but they're going to have to come up with something because I think it's very possible they start this thing, 1-4 or something like that.
Close to it, yeah.
Yeah, let's move on here to the running backs. Newly acquired Aaron Jones finished as RB39, going off the board RB18. Ty Chandler going off the board 45th. RB45, Kenny Nwangwu, Miles Gaskin, Dwayne McBride, who I loved and just never really seemed to hit, and CJ Ham. So the question, I guess, is, well, we see they think Ty Chandler is a backup. It always kind of has been. Does Aaron Jones have anything left in him, and can he stay healthy? If he stays healthy at RB18, that's a pretty damn good value. But what are your thoughts here on this running back room?
I mean, so far, obviously, before camp, it's pretty deep, right? So, but the names that point out right now is Jones, Chandler, Gaskin, and Ham, right? So Ham, I think, is just going to be there because he's always been there, but they're going to utilize him in a different role as well for blocking, picking up blitzes and such. But Gaskin has always had speed. Chandler's going to be your handcuff to Aaron Jones. Look, Aaron Jones might be 29 years old, but this guy keeps on putting 100-yard games up for some odd reason. And then when he has that hamstring issue, which we all know will happen, you want to have that Ty Chandler handcuff. Aaron Jones is going in, what I get, the 4th and the 5th round. Ty Chandler is going in like the 9th round. Those are the kind of like what it's really looking like. But I really would take Chandler. If you're in a deep league, I would take Chandler as a handcuff with Aaron Jones.
Yeah, there's definitely some value here. This is one of those, I don't want to call it ambiguous backfields. It's one of those kind of less than ideal backfields, but there are some targets here. Like, I don't mind, especially what you said. Like, if I got to take Aaron Jones RB18, I think that's going for me. It's probably 5th round, 5th, 6th round. I feel like RB18 is higher than the 4th or 5th round, but where I'm seeing him go is probably 5th round. Then you double back and you get Ty Chandler and say the 9th or 10th. I don't mind that. I don't necessarily want to, I don't want to go into a season with, if I've gone 0 RB, Aaron Jones in the 5th round is not the running back I'm taking off the board here, because that's got way too much of you're just guaranteed that he's going to miss time at some point. So that's not who I want as my RB1, but I don't mind it if, it's a value bet there and I'm just taking what's left on the board.
Yeah, I would say if you already got your RB1 in the 1st round, which is, say, if you were able to get a Bijan Robinson or a Breece Hall or something like that, or a Christian McCaffrey, and between those you get your wide receivers and come back for an Aaron Jones, that could be a pretty solid squad.
All right, moving on to the next spot here. We have the wide receiver room. 1 sec. Kids, I told you, I can hear freaking YouTube in the other room, but it's so loud he can't even hear me yell for him to turn it down. Quiet all day. On air, chaos. All right, wide receiver room here. Justin Jefferson, serious injuries last year, wide receiver 37, going off the board, wide receiver 3. Might be later than that in redraft. I don't know. I guess maybe not. I've seen him anywhere from 2 to 5, depending on how gutsy people are. Jordan Addison, wide receiver 20 last year, 40 off the board this year. Brandon Powell, Trent Sherfield, Jalen Naylor, N'Keal Harry, Tristan Jackson, Ty James. Pretty much nothing here. Even we've got the tight end, TJ Hawkinson's out for, a considerable portion of the season here. So we've got basically 2 pass catchers, and I assume Aaron Jones is going to pick up the slack until Hawkinson's back. So what do you think here? I know this is probably a little scary if you have Jefferson or Addison, the thought of Sam Darnold or even a rookie quarterback, but what are your thoughts here on these ones?
Yeah, I mean, they have the 19th easiest, not really easiest, schedule in the league this year. So it's like Justin Jefferson has proved he's an alpha. That's just what's going to happen. He's going to eat up, cornerbacks unless they double team him. And that's where Jordan Addison might be getting some targets coming in that way. But Jordan Addison, 9th round-ish, that's what you're looking at. That's where he's kind of getting drafted in. And the only he reached just under 1,000 yards last year, but really that was because of the injury from week 5 to week 14 with Justin Jefferson. So can he repeat that? I don't know. I'm going to say probably not, with the quarterback uncertainty and all of that. So it's it go based upon the quarterback,
He is going pretty cheap though. I had a draft literally 20 minutes ago. I made a pick in the draft, and then 3 picks later, someone took Addison, and I said, shit, Jordan Addison was still on the board? I was like, I didn't even look for him. I was like, oh, well, guess I probably would have gone with Addison. I ended up taking an older guy, and it was Dynasty, and I said, well, made a mistake there, but it is what it is. The tight ends. it's tough. TJ Hawkinson, tight end 4 last year, going off the board as a tight end 11 because, it's redraft. He's probably going to miss 8 to 10 games. ACL tear late in the season, week 17 or 18, I don't remember which. Johnny Munt, Josh Oliver, Robert Tonyan. Tonyan had one good season a few years ago, and it was off of like 15 touchdowns. I don't have any interest really here. I guess if you really want to pray for Bob Tonyan, maybe, but I've got some shares here of TJ Hawkinson just because he's going so late, and I'll stash him on my IR and just draft another tight end. But so aside from TJ Hawkinson at a significant discount, I don't really have any interest in the tight end room. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to go after? Johnny Munt, who had 17 receptions in his career, right? Like, I mean, it's not gonna.
True
If any,
story.
yeah, if anything, you're gonna have. Robert Tonyan is probably. I'm just gonna call it now. He's probably gonna be the tight end one here. You know what I mean? He's gonna climb that bracket, and the only connection, and I'm not saying any of these guys are gonna get, drafted. The closest thing, like you said, is probably going to be that IR spot for Hawkinson, and Sam Darnold working just like he did last year in San Francisco in that run, let's pass to the tight end, or you know what I mean? That's the closest you're going to get.
Yeah, and if you're drafting Tonyan, it's, pray he does what he did in Green Bay, and he's going to have 30 yards every game. You just got to pray he scores a touchdown. It's the definition of touchdown or bust.
Yeah.
All right, moment of truth here. One player on this team you're targeting in redraft this year, and one you are avoiding. Who do you got?
Redraft.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna have to go after the alpha, it's pretty basic. You're gonna go after Justin Jefferson. I think that's pretty simple. You're not gonna overthink it. I mean, you could go Aaron Jones, but at the same time, you're questioning 29 years old at that point. You want to go Justin Jefferson, somebody who's young, who's still got it, who's still got the alpha, who gets the targets, and who's going to lead that team.
All right, who you avoiding?
I am probably going to avoid anybody in the quarterback room. I'm going to avoid all of them.
QBs. All right. That's what I'll put down is QBs as your answer. All right. Now the fun part. You're going to project the wins or losses here. I'm going to tell you a game. You just say win or loss. There has been some homerism in this so far. Apparently, don't ask analysts to judge their favorite team because every team goes 12 wins. I guess that's how it works. So, week 1 at the Giants.
I think they're going to take a W. I think that defense is going to come in, and nobody's going to have anything knowing what to do with Sam Darnold. Nothing like that. It's going to be a W.
All right, week 2, home to the Niners.
They're taking that L. They're not going to go. They're not going at home. I'm sorry, but they're not going at home and taking a W against San Fran.
That's my litmus test here for these. Anytime anyone projects a win over the Niners, I'm like, yeah, you're suspect. Unless it was earlier. I had Mike Lindbergh. He was the Chiefs. I think even he said lost to the Niners, but I'm not real big on predicting wins over the Lions, Niners, or Chiefs. But week 3, home to the Texans.
Look, Texans, they got more firepower now. You thought that defense was good last year too, as well. They're gonna crank it up a notch. I'm sorry, it's gonna be another loss.
Week 4 at Green Bay.
This is where it might change. I think they're surprisingly gonna pull out a W in Green Bay. Okay, I think they're gonna do this because Brian is going to make that defense something different for Jordan Love to see.
All right, week 5, home to the Jets.
That's going to be in London. And I believe that these Jets are gonna, they're gonna hammer it. They're gonna use the run game. They have the best corners almost in the game, and that defense is ridiculous. So I think they're gonna take an L.
All right, so you've got them 2-3 going into the bye. They come out in week 7 and they host the Detroit Lions.
I think they do their homework, and this is where they're gonna have a surprising W against the Lions.
I'll allow it because it's at home. Week 8 at the Rams.
Yeah, I think they're going to California, and all that magic disappears, and they're taking an L.
Week 9 hosting the Colts.
The Colts are a little bit trickier than you think. I think if he stays healthy, that QB Richardson is going to run all over him, and they're going to take an L to the Colts.
All right. At the Jags.
Jags has one of the easiest schedules again for QBs, and I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be comfortable at this point of the season, and they're going to light it up, and they're going to take it. They're going to take an L against the Jags.
All right, let's see if they can break the 3-game losing streak in Week 11 at the Titans.
Which they can. I think Brian Flores, his defense is going to show up against Will Levis. I don't think Will Levis has been able to see this kind of defense yet, and I think he's not going to know what to do.
I figured you'd say that. Week 12 at the Bears.
You know what? We're going to split it. We're going to go a W against the Bears, another rookie quarterback here, and he might not know what to do with this defense either, even though he has weapons.
This is one of the hardest teams for me to project, the Bears. They could be awesome. They could suck. Like, I get everyone's really high on them. They've got a fancy new offense that looks awesome. You know what? Rookie quarterbacks year one tend to suck. New running back, a rookie receiver, new receiver from free agency. This is a lot of pieces to put together in a short period of time. I think this time next year, the Bears are all going to be buy low because I don't think this is going to be the year. I think this is going to take longer to gel than you would expect. I think people are expecting too much out of a basically entirely new team. But Week 13, they host the Cardinals here.
Yep, and I think Kyler Murray is going to show up kind of like the older Kyler Murray if he's not hurt. And I think he's going to throw. He's got two great receivers on there with McBride and Marvin Harris Jr., and he's going to make it happen. They're going to take an L against the Cardinals.
I agree with everything you said. The only thing you should factor it in the future, I believe this game comes out the week after the new Call of Duty game comes out.
All right, you know what?
Tyler might be sick.
Overtime loss. How about that? An overtime loss.
All right, okay. Week 14, hosting the Falcons.
Look, Falcons on paper look great, man. They got tight ends, they got wide receivers, they got a quarterback that likes to throw it this time around, and Bijan Robinson's going to run through that team. He's going to take an L.
Cousins' revenge game.
It could be, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Week 15, hosting the Bears.
This is where the Bears finally caught on a little bit, and they're going to take that. They're going to take that L against the Bears at home.
All right. Week 16 at the Seahawks.
Surprising victory after 3 straight losses. They're going to go into Seattle. They're going to take a W. It's just going to be surprising, though. It's going to be one of those wonky games.
All right. Week 17, hosting the Packers.
Packers are coming back with vengeance. Indoor, late year. They already know how to play in the cold. They're going to be able to do it easily inside of a dome. They're going to take the L.
And they close it out in Week 18 at Detroit.
And they are going to close out with a loss. The Lions are looking probably at that point to maybe even catch a seed or what have you. So they're not letting go. They're gonna put it on them.
And you have them going 6-12, which I think is very reasonable. Before we get out of here, you want to tell everyone once again where they can find you.
Yeah, follow me on, you can go iconicalwear.com. I have some merchandise. I have my podcast on there. If you want to listen to the podcast, everything is, Ghana, Deezer, iTunes, Spotify, anything like that. And if you guys have any requests, you guys want to talk football, I'm always here.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining me. I've got to end the show a little early here because I have a 9-year-old who thinks he's going to cook himself dinner right now, and that's just not happening. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, my friend, for joining me. Check back tomorrow for the Carolina Panthers. Take care, everyone. Have a great night.
Thanks.